I don't see a lot of folks jumping up and down saying DeSantis run, except the business class of the GOP. Now, the folks in coach have a whole different point of view about where this plane is ultimately going to go.
And that was former Republican National Committee Chair Michael Steele making a reference to this 2024 election poll. Trump leads DeSantis by 17 points in GOP matchup. According to the recent Morning Consult survey of Republican primary voters, Trump received the support of 48%, DeSantis got 31%, and 75% of GOP voters have a favorable view now of Donald Trump. Those numbers are starting to fuel more reports in Tallahassee that Florida Governor DeSantis is considering sitting out of the 2024 race. He was just reelected to a second term as governor. He's only 44 years old, and strategists are reportedly telling him there isn't much downside in avoiding a Trump fight. The chatter is getting picked up by national political reporters, pundits, and cable hosts.
My guess is DeSantis says, wait a second, why do I go to the meat grinder that chewed up and spit out 16 Republicans politically? Why don't I let Trump run again? I'll serve out my term. I'll end up with, 80% approval ratings among Republicans. And then in 26, I just opened my presidential campaign and I don't have to even take on
deal with this, the
champ. Right. I think that's probably what he's thinking in Tallahassee, because I think he knows he does not want to cross Donald Trump on a debate stage.
And on a debate stage, at least in 2016, Donald Trump was, as Joe Scarborough noted, the boxing champ. Trump had the most compelling stage presence. He successfully ridiculed and made fun of his competitors and knocked out his rivals repeatedly.
Jeb Bush is a low energy person. For him to get things done is hard.
Even Jeb Bush, who had the backing of a $100 million business and corporate super PAC, could not make up enough ground to bury himself against Trump. Other popular Republican governors, including Wisconsin's Scott Walker, literally melted under the Trump attacks. And if Florida's DeSantis runs, it would likely come down to just a two-person primary race, Trump and DeSantis.
You get two people up on a debate stage and one starts sweating profusely, like immediately who the pretender is and who the champ is. And the champ goes in, mocks him for sweating, and then jabs. He sweats a little bit more. And then he just goes in for the kill. And Trump did that with 16 people in 2016. And again, I haven't seen anybody that can get in his face, that's good enough to get in his face.
Joe is right. DeSantis is untested against a political and debate heavyweight like Donald Trump. And while DeSantis may not be somebody who sweats, and perhaps his campaign personality is stronger and more versatile than DeSantis seems, the odds are still against the Florida governor beating Trump. And even if DeSantis wins, he would likely emerge from the Republican primaries bruised and battered, and with the Trump MAGA world infuriated at him. And at that point, after a bitter and bloody primary race, uniting the Republican Party in a general election for president would be a challenge. My sense from the indications in Florida is that Ron DeSantis will sit out 2024, throw his support behind Donald Trump, and prepare for an easier-looking presidential campaign in 2028. There's an old saying in life and politics that there is no time like the present. But right now, Donald Trump is still a Republican tour de force, and even Ron DeSantis can sense that. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.